Hello and welcome to the Journal. I'm Steve Kendall. June 19th is Juneteenth. It recognizes and commemorates the effective end of slavery in the United States, marking the day when federal troops arrived in Galveston, Texas, to take control of the state, fully ending the Civil War. Lima's Juneteenth celebration, well, it was on a 2-year hiatus. It's back this year, and I'm joined by two members of the organizing group, Marc Wright and Tiffany Ward. Welcome both of you to Journal. Thanks for taking the time to talk with us today.
Good morning, and thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, and yeah, thank you. And Marc, you're the chair of this event. Talk a little bit about the background of the event. Obviously, the last couple of years, due to COVID, things were a little quiet, but you're back. But talk about the background of Juneteenth in Lima.
Absolutely. Juneteenth it's generally been it's taken place at the Martin Luther King Park. And so it spans back when Londell Smith used to organize this event. And again, it's been a celebration of music, spoken word, fellowship, local leaders attending the event just to share in celebrating the actual event of Juneteenth, as well as talking about and embracing the culture and sharing the culture that has, that was, not able to exist, but, now it's, with this celebration, it really brings that event to the forefront. So it's been going on for several years here locally, and now with, more exposure, the national holiday, it's really bringing this to focus for many organizations and community leaders to embrace this as a celebration each and every year.
Well, and as I mentioned in the introduction, for a lot of people, we believe the Civil War ended at Appomattox and everything was done, but the reality was it took several more months before the Confederacy was finally back in federal control, back under the U.S. government, and Texas was the last place that actually saw federal troops arrive and basically enforce the end of the Civil War and say, look, it's over, and then provide people with their freedom. So it's a holiday that's been a long time in making, and obviously, as you said, now is a federal holiday, and rightly so, because that really is the real end of the Civil War versus what we believe took place at Appomattox in Virginia. So it's a good thing that we have an opportunity to not only celebrate the fact that it took place, but also educate about what it means to the U.S. population, and especially those in the black population as well. When you talk about some of the events, and Tiffany, you can jump in here too, because I know one of the pieces of this year's event, and maybe it's been in other events, there's obviously a big health component with this too, and I know that your organization is involved in that. So talk a little bit about that aspect of it, and we'll also to all the other events that go on. It's a 2-day event, so it's a big celebration.
Sure. So Lima Memorial, we have sponsored the event as well. So we're going to have what we call like a healthcare and opportunities tent available. So we just want to, provide like a lot of education for the community. We're going to do like some healthcare screenings for the community, some blood pressure checks. We're going to have like mental health awareness out there available. My HR team will be present as well. So they'll talk about different like opportunities, reimbursement opportunities for the community that'll be available. I just want to give out some literature on like African-American dieting, different recipes, healthy recipes. And then I'm just looking forward to like being able to engage with them a little bit, let them know like, we are here. We want to promote like inclusion and stuff for the community with their community hospital. So very excited to get out there and get involved with the community a little bit.
Yeah, and I know that over the course of the last couple of years, as we've dealt with discussing COVID a lot more than I think we ever anticipated, one of the things that kept coming up was that in some cases it's difficult to engage parts of the population who are a little possibly distrustful of the medical system, and this is an opportunity to inform them and as you said, engage and be inclusive about it. So it's a great opportunity to show them just the value of this and what you have to offer.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Marc, obviously this event takes place over 2 days, and you touched a little bit about in general about it, but kind of talk about some of the specific things that are going to go on here, because obviously it's a large-scale event with a broad range of activities. There's music, there's spoken word, but there are other things going on as well.
Yeah, so Friday, June 17th, we are having a black and white ball. So it's a, come dressed in all white or all black and really upscale, wear. And again, it's a fundraising event for Juneteenth, Lima. So that's going to be held at the Civic Center from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. on that Friday evening. In the patio area inside the Civic Center. So again, it's an event just to socialize, to bring folks in. And again, it's a $50 per seat event. And again, where those proceeds are just helping to fund other things that we want to do with Juneteenth as we move forward each year. So that's going to be taking place on that Friday evening of, live music, with Brandon Montfort, this whole 360 selfie photo stuff, and just really fellowship and networking for the folks who are, and it's only 100 tickets available. So it's a very exclusive event. So those tickets are on sale through Eventbrite at the moment, right on Facebook, to be able to log in and purchase your tickets right online. So it's going to be a great evening there. And then on Saturday, that's the big day. That's going to be held right downtown, between Market Street and High Street, and where the city, it's a complete block off of the area. That's going to be taking place from noon to 6 p.m. And so there's going to be live music all throughout the day, different acts coming in throughout the day, as well as the spoken word that we have. There's going to be food trucks, serving food, to keep folks, keeping them energized. We're having arts, so the Art Space Lima is going to be having things for either doing a mural as well, youth activities, so they're part of that as well. And so there's several people involved that are heading up certain subcommittees. So Janisha Williamson is heading up the youth activities portion of this. So she's got a host of things of local authors to be able to, talk about what they're doing with their kids' books and things like that. And then really the community connection. So there is a very Meg Horton is heading up the business pop-up tent. So there's going to be 50 plus local vendors marketing their products, Black-owned businesses is the idea here. So, and she's a specialist at that, with getting folks to come in and, whether they have a full-time job and they do these things on the side, like so many people do, they're selling their items and promoting their business, and really, starting to generate their revenue to grow their businesses as well. We think that's super important piece of this.
Okay. Well, when we come back, we can talk in more detail about some of those specific events as well. Back in just a moment with Marc Wright and Tiffany Ward from the Lima Juneteenth Celebration. Back in just a moment on Journal. Thank you for staying with us here on Journal. We're talking with two representatives of the Lima Juneteenth Celebration, which takes place on the 17th and 18th in downtown Lima and also at the Lima Civic Center. We have Marc Wright and Tiffany Ward. Marc, you were talking about the array of events that were available and a lot of youth activities. So what would be some of the specific kind of things that people will find if they bring their families down there? Obviously, it's a family event. There's something there for everybody. But what more will go on Saturday, for instance, with all those different events that are taking place?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things is with the youth, with Janisha heading that up, is there's a local author, a couple of local authors, Matt Sanders, just like Daddy. So him and his daughter, the authors of that book, children's book, and so we're going to be spotlighting his business, a book signing for him and her. And so the idea is they're actually going to do an on-stage reading with fathers bringing their daughters up, and they're going to be reading certain pages of the book. And again, it's one of those. It's a positive book. a role model book. And so that's one of the pieces. There's also another author that's we just secured as well, is also going to be promoting her children's book as well. Like I said, there's going to be face painting things going on. The Art Space Lima with promoting their the mural that the children are going to be participating in the mural. It's really ages 4 and up is that whole idea of the youth program. So the Lima Symphony is also going to be there promoting the music and education about, you know, the importance of learning music and learning how to play instruments and things like that. So and again, it's just and then music that in addition to that. So local talent, art. So that's going to be kind of the focus, and that's going to have its own zone right out in front of Art Space Lima for that portion.
Yeah. Now the mural, where is that going to be placed? Where is that going to take place exactly? And will that be something that will be there permanently then, or is this a temporary mural?
Yeah, it's a temporary, so it's going to be mobile. So that's the idea of it. So it can go throughout the community, and so our partnership with Vibe Coffee House, you know, he is going to be able to they're going to promote that at his coffee house as well. So that's a really great hub for a lot of local art, music, poetry, and talent, things like that. So, so it is going to be a mobile thing. So each and every year, it's going to be able to be placed in certain areas of the city and local businesses, schools, and whatnot. So, so it is a mobile mural.
And that's a really good idea, because then, of course, year-round you're providing that educational experience and information about Juneteenth. So that's a really good idea.
Yeah.
That's a really good idea. Tiffany, you touched earlier on the medical engagement, and to some degree mental health, because that's one of the areas that, of course, when we talk about health, we generally think about our physical health. But you did mention that there is going to be some mental health discussions going on, or opportunities to talk with people about that. So could you elaborate a little bit more about what you're going to be doing with people for mental health down there at Juneteenth?
Absolutely. So we have a mental health nurse practitioner here. Her name is Jennifer Truman. So she has a new practice that she started up, and she deals with different diagnoses, different mental health disorders. You know, I don't want to say the wrong thing, but so I'm gonna have a lot of her information out there. Just, you know, what all different types of things that she does treat, her like office hours, any kind of educational material that she wants me to bring out there. I'm hoping to actually have her out there herself, or someone from her team to join us so they can speak more specifically to that. But just getting her information out there to the community so they know there's somewhere to go, somewhere to turn to if they need to. I also will have a member from our oncology services department there. Cheryl Nagy usually heads that up, and she will have like different survey questions out there available, and depending on like how the community answers those questions will depend on the type of screening or information that we give to them. So I think that's a good opportunity for the community. That's a big hit.
Yeah.
I have my daughter, actually, Anijah Ward, will be out there. She's a student nurse. She'll graduate in December, and she will be performing the blood pressure checks and just talking to the community about different opportunities, how her life and her experience has been here at Lima Memorial, just so the community knows, like, we're here for the community and trying to promote community socialization events, stuff like that. And then I also have another girl, her name's Shayla Cloud. She'll be out there just to kind of talk about her life as a nursing assistant here at the hospital, and just, I don't know, just to be out there to represent and see, like, what does the community want? What kind of questions do they have for us? Just to get more involved in the community. I don't know.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, you mentioned the fact that, you know, we're doing a lot of basic things like blood pressure checks, and the reality is those are the routine kind of things that a lot of us ignore, don't go to regular doctor's appointments, that sort of thing. But that's where you really can find out something that might be going on with your health that you feel perfectly fine, but something as simple as a blood pressure check may say, oh, there's something maybe we should talk a little more about. So it's a great opportunity to maybe reach parts of the population that maybe don't participate, as many of us don't do as well as we should, seeing our doctors and getting involved in the medical system.
Yep. We'll also have like out there, like depending on like the blood pressure checks and stuff, if they don't have like a primary care physician or they don't seek services, we'll have someone out there available to help them get set up with whoever they choose or wherever they would like to go. But we just want to make sure that the community is taken care of.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely. So it's a perfect opportunity for someone who may be reluctant to even afraid to find out how to get involved. This is a perfect opportunity. They can walk up and see your folks and talk to them, and you can kind of ease them into the system a little bit if they've been reluctant or just figure, I feel perfectly fine, there's nothing wrong. But it's a great opportunity for them to do that. We'll be back in just a moment here with Tiffany Ward and Marc Wright on the Journal. We're talking about the Lima Juneteenth celebration. Back in just a moment. Thank you for staying with us here on the Journal. Our guests are Marc Wright and Tiffany Ward, and they're here representing the Lima Juneteenth celebration. Marc, obviously, and in talking with both of you, both Tiffany and Marc, a lot of other people, a lot of other organizations are involved in making this happen. So talk a little about the people that are involved that we haven't mentioned yet.
Yeah, I think first and foremost, Lima Memorial Health System, we're happy to be a gold sponsor for this event. And again, with the connections of their initiatives in the community that they have, very, very excited to have them on board. And with Tiffany's new role at the hospital, it's a perfect fit for what they want to do in the community and beyond. So especially, thankful for their involvement to, the apprehension of the African Americans with healthcare. Great connection for them. Road State College is another participant, gold sponsor, with the facility that they have with the Bora building downtown. So we're working on how we can get information or how they can get information about what that building does. What does it mean for this community as it relates to the health field? So it's a beautiful state-of-the-art facility that they're going to be able to speak to that as well. Wanamaker Trucking, again, can't thank Andy enough to, with that, Lima Allen County Pallet, Premier Bank, Lighthouse Behavioral, Lima Refinery, Wandale Smith. He was our first sponsor to come on board. So again, he's been involved with the Juneteenth event for many, many years. So Nutrien is also part of this, Union Bank. Procter & Gamble, they're going to be there, promoting, their sustainability, their recruitment, the facility that they're going to be building. So they're going to have recruitment folks there, 150 employees that they're going to be recruiting for that new facility. So it's a wonderful event for them to promote and what they're going to bring to the table as well. Meg Horton stepped right up to this. With her pop-up business. So she took on that. Again, we just can't thank enough everyone being involved. And, it couldn't happen without our sponsors.
Yeah, and Tiffany, again, from the medical side, obviously, you're heavily involved, and it's, as we talked about earlier, a great way to reach out, not just to the African-American population, but to the entire population in Lima, for them to have a great walk-up opportunity to take advantage of this.
Absolutely. They can just look for us, the big healthcare opportunity zone tent out there. I am the new diversity, health equity, and inclusion manager at Lima Memorial. So we are, one of our big initiatives for this year and coming years is just to get more involved in the community and do a lot more community work. So I just want the community to know, like, they can expect to see us more. Having more events, more health fairs, just more things to make our community better. So we'll be out there from 12 to 6 and they can come see me. Yeah,
and obviously to find out more information about the healthcare system in Lima, online, Facebook, all of that's available for people. So if they have any questions, they can look online quite easily and find out more, not just about this event, but about everything else that you do.
Yeah, we have our website, limamemorial.org. It has all of our information on there. We also do have a Lima Memorial Facebook page as well. So anything they want to know, any questions they have, they can go there, or they can just call the hospital, the main number, and they can ask for me if they like, and they know how to get them directly to my extension.
Great, fantastic. And Marc, if people want to find out more about this whole event, the Juneteenth celebration in Lima, the 17th and 18th, what's the easiest way for them to find out that information?
Yeah, total Juneteenth Lima. That's our Facebook handle, I should say, and it's going to have all the information about the event, where it's taking place, who the sponsors are, as well as the time from noon to 6 p.m. It also has a link to the black and white ball, so they'll be able to just go right to the Eventbrite site and purchase their tickets. They can even, you know, as far as the tickets go for the black and white ball, you know, they can even call me at the office or the Arts Council as well, because they are the proud sponsor, the head of the event, the nonprofit. So they can call the Arts Council of Greater Lima, as well as, you know, our number here, 419-234-3005. If they don't want to go through the link, we are able to do the tickets. You know, they just give us a call as well.
Great. Well, thank you so much, both of you, for being here. Tiffany Ward, Marc Wright, and best wishes on the event. It should go well. Hopefully the weather will be fine and you'll have a great weekend out there. And a great way to commemorate, educate, and reach out to the community with your Juneteenth celebration. And much success with that. And feel free, you know, next year to get in touch with us, and we'll be glad to talk with you again as you hold next year's event. But best wishes for the event this year, and thank you for taking the time to be with us today.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
And you can check us out at WBGU.org. And of course, you can watch us every Thursday night at 8 o'clock on WBGU PBS. We will see you again next time. Good night and good luck.